as a business owner like yourself, when you broadcast a new, product or you roll out a marketing campaign, you're seeing all the highs, which is what social media is, by the way. Everybody only posts their highs.
100%.
Pretty much. Obviously, it's not for everybody. Being a startup business owner is not for everybody, and not everybody can handle it because it's stressful. There's bad lows.
Yeah.
Like I remember we had a conversation in the summer where you were like, holy shit, like I'm looking at these expenses I didn't know about. I mean, and you even have said before, there's days where you have no sales. There's days where you have a ton of sales. It's like a casino. It's like going to the casino, I would say.
Roll the dice.
You got to roll the dice. So how do you deal with the lows? What are some lows that you've hit this year, and how did you man up and be like, damn, I got to power through this?
Dude, that's such a good question. Honestly, like, I wouldn't say that, obviously COVID, right? This year has been super shitty in many ways. Obviously not just business, but just in life in general, right? We're all fucking cooped up in a hen, it seems like. But this is the crazy thing, which I think it might be like hard for a lot of people to think about. But every day as an entrepreneur, you feel every single emotion, right? I'm sure, Jordy, you probably, like, we can have someone that, puts in an order for $1,000, right? And then 5 minutes later, we get a customer that is unhappy. And then, we say, hey, we just scheduled this meeting with, this big company that we've been waiting for. And then an hour later, like, there's just always things that are on your plate. And as an owner, you have to deal with it, right? And I'm not saying that other occupations don't go through that. But when you're the owner, you can't push it off to someone else.
No.
So it's being comfortable with that kind of stuff. And you don't just get over it, right? There's no like magical thing like, oh, if I breathe 10 times and hold my breath, like I'm gonna feel way better. You have to just kind of go through it. As shitty as that sounds, I think that's why, you hear like the quote, what is it, after 5 years, like 80% of businesses failed, and after whatever the statistics are, I don't really give a shit about them, but dude, it's because you have to deal with all this bullshit. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily their product and how good it's selling. Obviously, that has a big thing to do with it. But I think it's the emotional roller coaster and like understanding how to deal with it. And I think it's just head on, right? Like there's no running from feeling like shit. There's no running from having like anxiety over overthinking something. Like you just have to deal with it, and then you slowly learn how to operate while in those boundaries.
Well, and you said that statistic, it was what, after 5 years, 80% of businesses are done. Well, dude, like in any industry, not even the clothing industry, everybody, like, I feel like 90% of whatever industry is going on, after a year, people just quit because they can't handle like the hardships, right?
Yeah.
They just drop out. And so if you keep on going for a year and a half, 2 years, you're automatically in the top 10%. And at that point, you've came too far to just run when, the seawater hits your boat as a captain of the ship. You got to be able to take it. You got to be able to take sharks coming at you out of the ocean. Like you got to figure it out, grab your net. So what's like the 2 or 3, I feel like you got like 2 or 3 lows where you're like, damn, that sucked, but thank God I got through that.
Oh, 2 or 3 lows.
Like behind the scenes lows.
Yeah. Dude, so there's been times where we've been like, dude, looked at my bank account and we're like $30,000 in the hole.
Damn.
Where it's like, how the fuck are we gonna get out of this?
Yeah.
Dude, so that was pretty wild.
And I imagine that was probably pretty early.
Yeah, that was probably like 7 or 8 months into it. That was, dude, I thought for sure, I was like, dude, we're done. And then,
did you call anybody and were like, dude, I'm quitting?
Dude, no, I don't think I've ever had the thought of quitting, right?
Yeah.
It was my grandma actually did this. This sounds so cliche, and I hate saying these because it's like, okay, yeah, did you just...
By the way, cliches are always true. It's always true. They're always true.
It is. But it's like, dude, did you just like look that up on the internet and recite it now? But no, my grandma, she always told me, she's like, don't wish it was easier, wish that you were better, right? And dude, like, there's just this hustle that she like instilled in me, right? And it's like when we were at that point, it was like, all right, that's when I started messaging people on Facebook and Instagram, and I was like, damn, this actually kind of works. So I was like, okay, this is gonna
For
be part
sales, was it?
yeah, for sales, because I was like, all right, we're literally 3,000 in the hole. Like, how are we gonna get out,
Got
right?
a message.
That was probably like the hardest thing, just because that was the first time where my back was really against the wall, and it was like, all right, this is a real company. I have money. I have things that are actually going to affect me if I don't work harder. And then I would probably say after that, just like delays on apparel. And I know that that sounds like really like nitpicking, like, dude, how is that bad? But you have to understand. So say for instance, right, we do a pre-order. And so we sell 500 pieces and people are expecting it delivered on a certain day. And then it gets delayed. And then all these people are messaging you like, hey, like, where's my stuff at? It was supposed to be here last week. Now people are asking for refunds. Now people this and that. And it's just like, it's so chaotic and you're just so like engulfed in the moment that it's like, dude, how the fuck is this happening right now?
And without having been through that, dude, that'd be tough. That would be stressful. And going back to your marketing campaigns and just tactics overall, you have a lot of competition. The clothing apparel market is simply crowded. It just is. So you need every little thing to kind of be, at least attempted to be controlled by you. So when something like delays happen, which, invokes negative feelings in customers, you're like, shit, like I can't even control that. And it's already making their shopping experience a little shittier. Right?
Yeah.
So how do you overcome that? Like, how do you make that something you can control? Because obviously you can expedite shipping, but that costs money.
All right, so honestly, like it's a relationship game, like when it comes to the control of it, because the manufacturers that we're using overseas, they're working with a ton of other companies. And not that they don't care about you, but if you don't put in the effort to have a good relationship with them, they might put your stuff on hold. They might kind of like push it back. If you're only ordering 100 pieces compared to another company ordering 10,000 pieces, that bigger company is gonna have priority. So one of the ways is, like I said, creating that relationship. Having those like conversations with them about like, all right, this is what I need. This is like what my customers are expecting. And then also like setting up certain like targets and guidelines. So like one thing that we do is we're like, hey, if we order $10,000 worth of apparel from you this month, right? Can we make sure that it is shipped by this date, this date, this date? So you kind of like create these guidelines and boundaries kind of like a year out. All right, so like, we'll order $10,000 a month, $120,000 worth of apparel for the entire year. Right, so like you set up those types of things so they understand that you're legitimate, because there's so many companies out there that may order one time or two times from a company. So if you don't have like that relationship with them, they're not going to prioritize you.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like companies need to make money, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't waste your time with a company that's going to be a flash in the pan, and they're trying to sell what's some like bullshit product.
I don't know.
Globes.
Fidget spinner.
Yeah, fidget spinners. Yeah, we're going to sign you to a contract and it's going to be worth it because you're going to buy 50 fidget spinners. Great. So you need to not only upfront say, okay, over 12 months, first of all, you're going to say, we're buying from you all year. It's 12 months.
Right.
And then you need to back up your word, which puts your back up against the wall all year. So you have to wake up and be about it, because you gave this big manufacturer your word and you can't fuck them over.
Yeah.
So does that ever stress you out? Is it like, holy shit, did I just overpromise something? Like, am I in over my head?
No, honestly not. So originally probably it did. I mean, I it's hard for me to think back about at that time because we've been working with them for 3 years now, our same manufacturer. But I know kind of like what we're going to sell, right? And it's honestly the opposite for us, I think. So there's times where we order and it's like, all right, I wish I would have ordered more, right? Just because I know now, like, if I need to push something, I can push it. That's just like my mentality. Obviously, it doesn't work that way every single time. But it's never really, for me at this point, like, oh, shoot, we shouldn't have put, that much towards apparel, or, we shouldn't have promised that this much. Because I know that if I need to do it, like, I'm going to sell it.
You will do it. And I think being a college football player helped you with, like, the disciplinary mentality, which that requires.
Yeah.
That's interesting, actually. I didn't even think of this. So, obviously, you play college football. You had to beat out a lot of players. You were the starter. Let's not act like you weren't good, okay? You're the team. You're the school record holder, right? Come on, you gotta say it. You gotta say it. You gotta say it.
Bro, this is about business.
All right, this is about business. Okay. Business is business.
Business is business.
So you're the school, leader, but you had to beat out a lot of players. Transversely, clothing market's pretty stacked. There's a lot of competitors. You've made it this far. You're 3 years in. That automatically puts you over what? If you check the stats, probably 80% of startups. You're in the final 20. You're in the big dance. You've earned the right.
Okay, fair
How are
enough.
you going to, ensure that you keep poking on the dance floor, you keep dancing with the big guys, and how are you going to get to the 10%, 5%? Because you could disappear, like you could.
Right. Dude, you gotta the biggest thing is always like reaching for when I go to like do something, it's like, okay, how can I do something that's like crazy that like I don't even think I can accomplish, right? And then you accomplish it, and then your perspective on what you're capable of doing, the line moves, right? It's further now, right? Okay, I can do that. Okay, like now how do I one up that, right? So it's those little things. It's reaching out to that individual that you're like, man, I wish I could talk to him in 5 years. Fuck 5 years. Let's talk to him now, right? Like, this company that I wanted to work with, this, I wanted to get in here for retail. Like, just do that now, right? Because we were talking about before this, right? Doors open doors. You never know what that conversation is going to lead to. Maybe, you talk to this, retail, and they say, we're not interested in you, but this other person might be. And then they give you that contact, right? So it's just pushing the boundary, right? I think complacency, it's super easy to stay there because it's like, fuck, man, like I'm doing everything. I'm making 70,000 a year. I'm feeling good, dude. But that person that's making 10,000 a year, dude, once they start making 70,000, they'd be like, fuck, dude, I can't wait till I make $1 million. And that's what kind of mindset you got to have.
Dude, complacency it's bad. It's easy too. Like that's
right.
The common man and woman in America.
Not biased.
Not biased. We're not biased. The common person will be super content with, just average, basically, mediocrity. And I feel like 2020 was an interesting year for that because it woke a lot of people up and it kind of showed people how much can get taken away from you.
Yeah.
Like this virus was completely out of people's control. They were locked in their house and then they were forced to kind of look at themselves in the mirror and be like, okay, I'm alone with my thoughts. I'm alone with my daily actions, habits, mentality. Are you going to shrink and just be like, I'm going to watch Netflix all day. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to do. Or are you just going to, buck up and keep going forward? And I don't understand why you'd want to go the other way. I don't understand why you just want to sulk and live below what is possible,
Right. Dude, and side note, go ahead. So I was just going to say, like, obviously, right, coronavirus, shitty virus, no one likes it. But this is kind of like what you have to think about. A lot of people, especially businesses, they're thinking about the next year, the next 2 years, right? Because now they finally are slowed down. They have time to think. Dude, this is a perfect opportunity to approach that business, to start that business, to whatever it is in business. Those people that you need to talk to become successful are a lot more free than they used to be.
It's honestly a glitch.
Honestly, and so it's so easy to look at it with a bad connotation, which obviously it is. It's a fucking virus. No one likes it, dude. But there are positives from it as well.
There's more. I think there's more positives than negatives. I'm serious. If you want to get a business on the phone, before you had to go through their assistant, their cafeteria assistant had to sign off on it. Then you had to weave through their pet dog. I don't know. But now, everybody is at home.
Yeah.
Everybody's at home. Everybody's accessible. Everybody's checking their social media. I honestly think it's like a bizarre glitch in the timeline of U.S. history. I'm serious.
Dude, it's a reset. It's a hard reset.
It's a
hard reset.
Yes. Well, what do you mean by that? I feel like you've thought about this. I haven't thought about the word reset before.
I don't know. I just feel like everyone's just been on go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone's on go mode, whatever it is. I mean, I don't want to get too controversial here, but just with everything that's been going on, right? We had the Me Too movement. We have, all the political stuff. We have, just kind of businesses in California. Just I feel like it's everything just been so with social media, everything just kind of been blowing up. And now it's okay, I feel like you guys have been moving way too fast. relax, stop, like take a deep breath, and like let's figure out how to do this like more effectively. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of like where we are right now.
Well, and so it's interesting because you officially graduated from college the winter of 2019, right? So
Winter of, yeah, about like a year ago. No, yeah,
yeah,
Year.
yeah. You were done with classes.
Yeah.
You're post college 2019. So then, right when you got into like full time business, COVID happened.
Yeah.
So how bizarre was that? Like how would that change if that wouldn't have happened? Do you think Ghostfit will be where it was right now?
No, definitely not. Because like I said, like the accessibility to other businesses, right? So right now we're in 12 consulting. I met Josh, the owner, during like the COVID time, right? Like, so there's been, and I don't know if I would have met him without, having COVID, right? Which is shitty, but I mean, that was one good thing that happened. But also, this is a hard question for me because you have to realize, so the first 2 years I started Ghostfit, I was in college. So it wasn't like it was still a priority in my life, but I was a full-time student, I was an athlete, and then I had Ghostfit. So my first real year out of college, which was last year, it was basically all COVID. So hustling every day, waking up, and going to bed only, doing Ghostfit was during COVID. So it's not like I really knew anything different. Obviously, before there wasn't COVID, but I wasn't focusing on the business like I am now. So it's different for me, I would say, because this is really like my first year. I feel like running my business to the capacity that I am, but it definitely, it makes you change the way you think about business because instead of just going off of like looking at another business and be like, oh, that looks cool, like I want to copy that. It makes you like dig deep and be like, what does my business mean and why are people attached to it? And like now, how do we scale it from there? You know what I mean? Because this was the year of like try whatever the hell you can think of, and if you throw mud at the wall, if it sticks, like run with it. You know what I mean? So like that's
Sell mud.
Dude, that
Sell mud balls.
Dude, that's what we did.
Yeah, no, honestly,
We didn't sell mud balls, but that's what we did.
Maybe sell ghost mud. You can't see the mud. I don't know.